Just like to thank the Quarterback Club for having me back to speak, and great to be here at the Rock and Bowl in New Orleans. And also like to echo coach's sentiments with regard to Ken and Ed Daniels. They do a lot to promote thoroughbred racing, not only here in New Orleans, but also nationwide, especially in the run-up to the Kentucky Derby. So Ken, really appreciate often having me on the air to talk about horse racing. But as Ken mentioned, it's my 14th year here at New Orleans Racecourse and Slots, and also been the track announcer up at Arlington International Racecourse since 2000. Before that, grew up in New York, had the opportunity to work in horse racing in New York, also in Cleveland, Ohio. Spent some time down in Dallas, Texas. There was a brand new track there called Lone Star Park that opened up in April of 1997. Kicked off a beautiful facility there in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex before coming to Chicago in the year 2000. Home of the Arlington Million, back in the day was the first ever $1 million horse race that was on NBC Sports, and much to Dick Enberg's chagrin, they went to commercial and called the wrong horse the winner. So you know, when it comes to horse racing broadcasting, it can be a very tricky slope. But we kicked off our season on Thursday at the fairgrounds, which has kind of been different than for many years. A traditional start on Thanksgiving Day. I've been known to frequent Venetia's right down the road on Carrollton and Canal, and heard a couple say it the other day. My husband said to the wife, well, they're running tomorrow, but the official opening day is Thanksgiving. But rest assured, we are underway and racing at the fairgrounds. And actually, it was poignant this year. We kicked off the season with the Tom Benson Memorial Stakes. Gail Benson was out to make the trophy presentation, but on behalf of all of the fairgrounds, it was wonderful to honor Mr. Benson with the running of the Tom Benson Memorial Stakes. It was won by a horse by the name of Remember Daisy. The owners came in from Minnesota, so it was a real special day for us to be able to honor a man that was such a part of the fabric of New Orleans. But we're underway, and Thanksgiving Day, wonderful card drawn. We are sold out, unless my name is Ken Trahan, and of course, always able to find a ticket for Ken and Ed when they want to come out to the horse races. But as I mentioned, we have the running of the Thanksgiving Handicap. Some horse racing riders were commenting even on Twitter. It's one of the deepest editions of the Thanksgiving Handicap we've ever had. It's the second oldest stakes race that we've run at the fairgrounds, considering this year it's our 147th thoroughbred racing season. So yes, I mean, we might not, of course, draw as strongly as the Saints or LSU in Death Valley on any Saturday night, but noting we're sold out, we'll have well over 5,000 people out there for the Thanksgiving Day card, a special 11 o'clock post time. So if you have a chance to come join us, please do. Great food and great racing atmosphere. You know, it's fun to be up here on the dais with Deuce. Several years ago, we had a horse, the Deuce is Loose. So it's always fun calling the Deuce is Loose, and it reminded me I had to look up this morning. Of course, Pat's great and University of Miami graduate Vince Woolfolk also had some horses that raced up the track. So I always remember these green and orange Silks of the U. I always wanted to see if one of Vince's horses would take on the Deuce is Loose, but an absolute powerhouse too was the Deuce is Loose. I think it won 4 times racing at the fairgrounds. So we've had a lot of horse racing combined with football connection, which is super here in New Orleans. Drew Brees has been out. He's been out to the races at times with some other players. And of course, Gail Benson's GMB Racing. They're very involved, not only in racing here at the fairgrounds, racing around the country. Their horse Lone Sailor won the Oklahoma Derby. He's being rested, looking to bring him back. New Orleans native, a perennial leading trainer at the fairgrounds. Tom Amos trains for Gail Benson, GMB Racing. A lot of the Saints organization, Greg Bensell, they love coming out to the track. So if you have a chance, do come join us, especially we look forward to seeing Lone Sailor come back, and horses that have, we love those horses that have the local connection. But some big days, I'd like to just point out, some big days coming up. I mentioned Thanksgiving Handicap. Louisiana Champions Day for us is December 8th. It's not only big for the horses, but for scholarships as well. We give away a lot of scholarships for young students, so it's important for the fairgrounds, racecourse and slots, Louisiana Thoroughbred Breeders Owners Association. They like to give back to the community, so perhaps if you have a young student athlete or somebody in the family, we give away scholarships December 8th, along with over $1 million in purses. So it's a wonderful day of racing. If you've never been out at the fairgrounds, one of those big days to come join us December 8th for Louisiana Champions Day. We have Santa Super Saturday and the run up to the holidays. Of course, Saints going well, but for us, we will race from, of course, last Thursday through the end of March. March 23rd is our big day of the season with the running of the Louisiana Derby. Santa Super Saturday, another big day. We have a ton of stakes races. Wanted to point out that day because we're on another great Saints broadcasting legend, Buddy Diliberto Memorial is being run on December 22nd, and his son Mike Diliberto is our clocker, also does the morning line odds. The family comes out, and traditionally, one of my favorite races of the year to call. For no other reason than it's just produced some great finishes. And if you're any broadcaster, if you come down to 4th and goal on the 1, and of course Deuce doing color now. I mean, just when things are on the line in the last seconds, it seems like year in and year out, the Buddy Diliberto Memorial has produced just some fantastic finishes. So if you have a chance to join us, that race will be run on December 22nd, part of a big stakes day called Santa Super Saturday. Then we kind of get into the meat and potatoes of the racing season. It's Road to the Derby kickoff day. 3-year-olds start taking shape, and of course, mentioned, always appreciate when Ken and Ed have me on the air to talk about the Louisiana Derby and the Kentucky Derby. But this is really the start of things for the newly minted 3-year-olds. It's Road to the Derby kickoff day on January 19th, and it features the running of the Lecomte Stakes, the Silver Bullet Day, who was a great Fairgrounds Oaks champion. We have a stakes race named after her, and you talk about past owners of the Fairgrounds, Ryan and Marie Krantz, and the Krantz family. They had such a big impact. They helped establish the Fairgrounds Hall of Fame. They archive a lot of the history of the Fairgrounds. Wonderful family that owned the Fairgrounds for a long time. The Marie G. Krantz Memorial, also another one of those races that I love to call. And then we head up to Louisiana Derby Preview Day on February 16th. I mentioned this because you just never know when you have, whether it's the 3-year-old boys or the 3-year-old fillies. Last year, a filly by the name of Monomoy Girl won our Rachel Alexandra Stakes, named for a great champion, Rachel Alexandra. She went on not only to win the Kentucky Oaks, she had a great 3-year-old filly campaign. She won the Breeders' Cup Distaff, and she's kind of helped toss her name a little bit into the conversation for the 2018 Horse of the Year. Justified, the Triple Crown winner, of course, but Accelerate is another horse that had won the Breeders' Cup Classic. He's had a wonderful season, but it's wonderful, this filly by the name of Monomoy Girl, who raced right here for our fans in New Orleans, winning the Rachel Alexandra Stakes, but she's kind of at least part of the conversation as to who might be Horse of the Year, and for horse racing fans, like myself, we'll leave that up to our voters. And on the big day of the season, it'll be closing weekend, which kind of for us comes a little bit early. It's March 23rd on the calendar. Closing day of the season will be on Sunday, March 24th. Louisiana Derby Day, Grade 2 Fairgrounds Oaks. Always part of a conversation. Hopefully one year we'll get this to become a Grade 1 race. We've had so many talented horses over the years win this race, and it's called the Stakes Committee. And they analyze what the horses that have run in a particular race do and what they go on to do. Quality of the competition, who you face, no matter what it is in any sport. It's a Grade 2 right now. I'll always continue my lobby for that to be a Grade 1, the Fairgrounds Oaks, outstanding race. And then we'll have the running of the Louisiana Derby on Saturday, March 23rd. That's just a great card. But we've kicked off with the Tom Benson Memorial Thanksgiving Handicap coming up this Thursday again. We figure the house is going to be sold out. Just want to point out, we also have, we try to bring, people talk about horse racing, is it a dying sport? But we do pack them in at the fairgrounds, especially on the weekends, on Thanksgiving Day. We also try to attract younger fans. We have a Starlight Racing series. So for many years, obviously, I've spent the last 19 years in Chicago. It took a while for Wrigley to get lights. For some horse racing tracks, it took a while for them to get lights as well. We have on November 30th, we have Racing and Entertainment, December 28th, February 1st, March 15th. Those are our night, 5 o'clock racing programs. So we like for fans to, perhaps if they work during the day, come out to the races at night and enjoy a great time. But our website is fairgroundsracecourse.com. We're on Twitter, Fairgrounds NOLA. I'm on Twitter at John G. Dooley. So if you have any questions, I'd love to take them.
Just curious, how do you get to be a race announcer? Is there a school you go to or what?
Well, I went to St. John's University, and they actually have a couple of campuses during the Chris Mullin basketball era. So we didn't have really much of a football team. I'd get excited if we beat the Merchant Marine Academy. But while I was there, I took an interest in. I was a college DJ, but at the same time was a sports management background. I worked actually for a minor league hockey team called the New York Slapshots. So I was the Atlantic Coast, Dave Schultz, the former Broad Street Bully. I don't know if any of you remember hockey, the Philadelphia Flyers back in the late 70s. He was the coach. So I was actually the team statistician, the league statistician, did the New York Slapshot goal, scored by number 22, Ed Daniels, with an assistant Ken Trahan. Then I would play the records. Those are vinyl records for the young. I would play those and play like Eye of the Tiger. But I took an interest. I had an interest in horse racing. My family had no involvement in the sport, but I like a lot of broadcasters. I looked up to the announcer booth. Thought I like this. I like the pace. So whether it was hockey or horse racing, I just liked how fast-paced it was. So I wanted to get involved in it. So took a tape recorder, went up on the roof, practiced calling some races. Some better than others. But I guess it would be like if you wanted to do any sport, if you want to be a Saints play-by-play broadcaster, or you want to do the Pelicans. I'd get myself a ticket at the Meadowlands in section 109. Row Z, and you go up there to the rafters and you practice. And so I kind of put together a resume tape, and you memorize. Actually, I memorized the owner's colors. So you memorize the name of the owner's colors with the horse. So, for example, Vince Woolfolk, the green and orange of the U. So no matter what his horse was, you quickly associate it. You have about 5 minutes to memorize up to 14 horses. Maybe you're live on NBC Sports, but who's listening? You do what you love. But I appreciate the question. It was just really kind of just a labor of love. I just thought it was a cool thing to do. Send out resume tapes, and it's definitely a unique job. I think for many years, even my wife. Well, what does your husband do? He's a track announcer, and usually you get the what? So, but I appreciate the Quarterback Club for having me, and again, Ken, for all you do to promote horse racing, especially at the fairgrounds. Thank you.